Yay! This is Wednesday, someday in September. September 21st. What?
From the year.
What's the year?
Wednesday, September 41st.
Yeah, I stood up just seeing who's paying attention on that one. Let's see. Most of the day is going to be a reading day, so for those of you who are at home, it's not going to be a very long video at all. But I have a few things I want to talk about and try and help you out. You have time to read, so if you're at home dead, take your dead time to read. We have a Socratic quiz tomorrow, so make sure you bring your iPad. You're going to make this entry on the homework side. It should be number 5. I know I overwhelm you guys with so many homework assignments. It's like the second one in 2 weeks. Shame on me for that. Then I'm going to have you download the homework. The homework files, poetry, download poetry, homework files. It'll be due next Tuesday, so a week from yesterday. It is very similar to the last homework that we did, except I've added another option. So now, instead of 2 options, you have 3 options. You still only have to do one of the options. You just get to pick which option. Option 1 is still the same. Option 1 is going to say, you are more than welcome to answer 10 of those 12 questions. And it's got different questions on there. There's little headings that are like all bold-faced and dark, so you know which poem the question is coming from. Because if it's talking about like who is the speaker in this poem, it doesn't mean just like any poem out there at all. It means like specifically that particular poem. So make sure you figure out the heading that it's going to. Option 2, if you go down to option number 2, yeah, you went to the wrong page. You have to tap on the top thing and then go down. And
Wait, what?
or you can tap on the part that says go to the regular class.
Is this right?
Nope. That's the download handout number 2. You want the one that says homework number 2. Homework.
Oh.
Yes.
How do I download this?
Yes, when it says poetry homework number 2.
Oh.
Time out, those of you who are normal on their regular class homework. And I have a little arrow.
Oh.
Yes. Like we've been using this all year.
I know, but I've never found that out.
And then you go, this says, yes. And we're back. So, option number 2 is going to be that thing we did last week with the bell work, where you had the letters and you had to talk about your book report book, and you had to come up with the phrases that talk about your book report book. Now, you can, instead of answering questions, you can do the phrases that talk about the poems. But there's certain things that have to be about certain poems. Most kids who choose option number 2 end up getting a 0 on their homework because they don't follow the directions. Once again, you'll pick up on the thing that I'm kind of strict about following directions. You have to label which poem it comes from, make sure certain ones go to certain poems. Highly recommend you read the directions. If not, the next Tuesday when you go, I did option number 2, I'll go, not correctly, you get a 0. And you're like, what? And I'm like, did you follow this? You're like, what? There's directions. And then the sadness happens. So you can do option 1 or option 2. And then option 3 says if you did well on the quiz, you can just tape that in. Gumball, how many pieces of tape should you use? Nicely done. So if you choose to do that, make sure you use the 4 pieces of tape. If not, then it comes back to haunt you. You may choose to do more than one option. If you want to answer the questions and do the alphabet letter thing, that gets you an extra 3 B points. If you do well on the quiz and do the homework, you can get up to 6 points. If you want to do all 12 questions, that gets you an extra B point. So I'm trying to make it rain B points on those of you who want the B points and want to do the extra stuff. That's absolutely up to you. Also, scroll down on that homework. There's a surprise. There's a poem on there. Because you're going to notice questions 9, 10, 11, and 12 come from this other poem. You're going to have to read that other poem. So make sure you read that one, because there'll be questions tomorrow on the Socratic from it, and there'll be questions on Friday's poetry quiz from it. And so if you don't read that one, you're going to go, what poem is this from? I'll go, the one from the homework. You'll go, I didn't read that one. I'll go, yeah, that's where it's going to suck to be you again. So make sure you read that one. It's a genius poem about some evil teacher or something like that. Unless you're in the advanced class, then you have a different one. Yours is about some other speaker that likes to eat things and destroy stuff. And so I have 2 different poems between the regular and the advanced. Questions over there. Mr. Boviak, on the homework, it's referring to a poem I don't recognize. You're correct! Because also, blippity bloop, there's a poem we didn't get a chance to get to. We got a chance to start it yesterday, but we did not get a chance to finish that poem. And for my regular class, it was Living Tenderly, and for my advanced class, it was a poem called Spider. You're going to have to read that poem on your own also. There's 2 poems you have to read on your own. But for this one, I'm going to be nice to you. I have a video of me teaching the poem to you. So if you want to, you can go on my website. If you get confused, right below where you downloaded the homework, and it has the different handouts, you go down, and it has me explaining that poem to you. So for the advanced class, it's a video of me going through and teaching you the spider poem. For my regular class, it's a video of me going through and teaching you the Living Tenderly poem. If you can read the poem and understand it, you don't have to watch the video. If you can read Living Tenderly or the spider and go, nailed it, that was easy, then you're good to go. Don't watch the video. If you read it and you go, yeah, then watch the video. It's sort of up to you to sort of help you out. If you get confused, watch it. If you can do it on your own, go you. Pull on those big boy, big girl pants, and you'll be fine. But there'll be questions from both the poem on the homework and this poem on there. We're going to see how well my training has done and how well you can analyze a poem and think your way through it on your own. Questions from there? Nope, still just staring at you. Okay, just want to check. Also, if you go back to my website, the home page, so you hit that button right up yonder that says home, and when you click on that one, bippity, and then you scroll down, boopity, I put another way to get B points on there. I sent this out as a reminder several weeks ago when a whole bunch of you guys had a bunch of points, but now some of you are desperately wanting points, or some of you are just trying to get to a certain point mark, because like during a reading day like today, I'm going to add it on there in just a second. If you have 30 B points and an A minus or higher in class, you can listen to music while you work, and that's fine with me. So that would be something I sort of offer up there whenever we have the work day, but you have to have enough points. If you want points, a way to get it is by doing book reviews, and you can do book reviews on Goodreads or Amazon.com. Now, when you do my book review, there's a certain format you have to follow. There's a template I set up, and that's where you come down here to the book review directions. You can't just go on Amazon and go, this book is awesome, yo, read it, and then send me the link and go, points, because you're not going to get any. There's a format you have to follow and get the link back to it and send it to me. But you can get up to 5 B points each time you do that. How many times can you do it? As of now, as many as you want. Every time you do it, this is going to get you more points. And so that's open to the different books you can review. Kylie!
So like when we like use one to like sit on the desk or do whatever, after we like do that, do we lose those B points or we stay? Okay.
So as long as you maintain those points, you get to keep those points. That's just the benefit of being that special. Woodchuck. Yay, show me at the end. And then from there, questions over this. Not. You still stand over the rest of the class. Silly woodchuck. Then, book report. The next thing I wanted to talk about. Now that you guys are starting to work on the book report, I figured I'd take a moment to go through and get another quick explanation. Because when I first explained it, it wasn't going to do you a whole lot of good. One, I have the paper for the book report if you want it. You're welcome to get your own paper. One thing that's been a surprise for some kids apparently is, once again, I keep referring to these things, I know it's a shocker, called directions. Direction number 1 says the paper has to be 12 inches by 18 inches. If it's not, then I don't grade it. This is 12 inches by 18 inches. 12 inches on the side and then 18 inches. So if you try to use like a piece of computer paper, that's not going to be anywhere close to it. I have these for you if you want them, but they're going to cost you 5 B points or a quarter. If you don't want to spend 5 B points or a quarter, go out and do this thing called getting your own. And so it's just construction paper, and you can buy it in any magical construction paper type place, or just use a poster board and cut it down. On this, you're going to be covering it with pictures. The pictures can come from magazines, and I have magazines here today. If you want to look through magazines, bring me a shoe. You can grab 2 magazines and then just switch them out whenever you get done, and that's absolutely fine for me if you want to get my magazines. Or you can use Google and just Google stuff from it. And then you can go through and you're going to look up different pictures that connect to it. You need to cover the entire poster with pictures. One of your grades says no blank area, meaning the fact that there's no empty spots on your poster. If it's a spot that's small enough I can just cover with my finger, then you're fine. I'm not going to count that. But if you just put all of your pictures like in this spot and the whole rest of the poster is blank, then that's going to cause us issues. So you need to be able to spread them out and fill up the entire thing. Then you go through and number each one of them. That way, in case I want to figure out why you have weird, creepy, pointy finger hand, I can go to the report you write up and find number 8 that says hand. The hand, because Jade Green takes the presence of a hand. The hand can be seen walking around and doing things. Jade died because her hand was cut off and she bled to death. And so that would be the explanation I'm looking for where it explains it. So for each picture, you just have some kind of an explanation. Once again, I know I keep saying this, but make sure you've gone through and read the directions. Because direction number 10 says, if your book is ever made into a movie or a TV show, you cannot use any picture from any movie or TV show that was ever connected to your book. I have kids who are already trying to go through there and take out like Harry Potter stuff and Hunger Games stuff, and you can't. You cannot use any pictures from those. You have to go out there and use other pictures of random kids with scars or girls with bows and arrows. Questions over the book report now that you start working on it? No, still just staring at you. If questions come up, ask me. I'm happy to answer, but I figured I'd show you once again, this is what I'm looking for. You're going to turn this into that. So they're just going to sort of match up between the two. And you're going to go through and just explain. The more explaining you do, the more points you get. Can I just go through there and say, murderer? He was accused of being a murderer. Sure. Are you going to get a good grade? I don't know. You consider a D plus, C minus a good grade? If you're like, that's all I'm aiming for, then you're good to go. If you want a higher grade than that, then give me more information. The more information, the better off you're going to do. Then finally, today, as you work, or for those of you at home, while you're trying not to die, you can read your book report book. You can look up pictures for the book report if you wanted to. You can work on poetry homework number 2, or if you're wanting to, you can read those poems that I put out there for you, and you can take a look at those. If you read The Living Tenderly or Spider and don't understand it, you can watch the video of me teaching, and that's also up to you. Can you work on other homework? Yes, as long as you have my homework done first. My homework gets firsties because I'm super important. And then if you have the points, 10 plus points, you can move 20 plus. Now moving means you just go to one of the empty seats. 20 plus points, you can sit on top of your desk, unless of course you're stuck standing, then you're out of luck. And 40 points, you can lay on the ground, unless once again, you're stuck standing. I'd say any questions, but you guys seem to like just staring at me. So, way to go team staring at me. I will stop here. Bye-bye, get better.